What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. Gotta watch this now. I mean, how can I possibly get excited for the next Marvel thing? God, I feel bored. Obviously, I'm kidding. No, I'm excited! So, yeah, obviously, I mean, what Marvel fan would not be excited about this? This is the first official thing to come out after Phase 3, entering into Phase 4. And I don't really know what to expect from this. First of all, off the bat, I do want to say that obviously I've taken a little step away from more TV show reviews recently. It's been, what, over a month now since my last one. Part of that is because just I didn't know where to start next. Also, holiday stuff, and also I have been playing a bunch of games that it's hard to play and also watch something else on the side. Like, they're not the type of games you can just sort of play it mindlessly while the show is going on, and I can pay attention to that while also doing it. I can multitask, but I can't multitask that much where I have to pay full attention to what I'm playing as well as. Anyways, so getting into this though, a couple of interesting things to point out. One, the first episode, actually both episodes. So the first two episodes dropped, and each one is about 30 minutes long. That's already kind of interesting to me and a little strange, just because I don't know. I mean, I knew there were going to be, I think they said 9 episodes. So it's a little interesting that they decided to go with 30 minutes. Like, I really thought it was going to be more like an hour long episode. Maybe they had these little short stories that they wanted to do, and maybe they were a little too long for a movie but not quite short enough to or I don't know, like maybe it was best set up this way. I'll see what happens going forward, but it was very interesting that it ended up only being 30 minutes because I just felt like I was expecting an hour. Like, that's kind of what I've come to expect when it comes to any show that is based on a movie or anything that's not a kid's show. I expect to be 45 minutes to an hour long. So yeah, interesting choice there. And for what it is, I actually do feel it kind of works for this because it is set very much like a classic old sitcom, kind of I Love Lucy vibes to it. And I really like the setup, and I like just all of the. I don't know, something about the way they set all of this up with the camera work, with how everything is happening, the audio, like it really works. Like, I really do believe that I'm watching a show from back in the 40s, 50s time. Um, Even like the dialogue and all of that, and the sets are kind of enclosed and small. I really enjoy what they've done with it. They've done a very good job of getting that feel. So that's, in my opinion, why the 30 minutes works for me, because I really do feel like, well, yeah, I mean, these would not be long episodes. If they were truly in this type of show, they would be very quick. It's very much a sitcom. So you got your situation, you got to figure out how to deal with it. So, but I kind of find it funny, like the setup for it as well. The whole, what are we gonna do? Like, what is this day? We don't know. We can't remember, even though they both should remember. But it's set up in such a way which, of course, causes for wacky drama. And I don't know. I really loved watching a lot of this because it did feel very much like I was watching a sitcom but starring two characters from Marvel. And it's kind of an interesting concept just in general. Of course, we know that there's something bigger going on. We see somebody is watching this at the end of it. And I don't really have any good theories at the moment. Like, I don't know if this is something that Wanda is doing or that Vision is doing. Like, it could be either of them. So it's got a very interesting setup already, and something that's keeping me curious to see what is going to happen next. Like, why are they going through these different eras of television? Why are they in these shows? Like, are they trapped in there? Is this actually them? Is this, like, it could be actually Vision, like his data is there, but is Wanda actually there too? Or is this his projection of her in this world? I don't know. Like, there's definitely a lot of possibilities that have come to mind. None of them have really stuck with me so far. Each one, like, I don't know why they would do it this way. I mean, there's going to have an explanation. I know they're going to, but I always like to theorize and try to figure it out as well. But yeah, a lot of this episode is just kind of building up, showing them in their daily life, and trying to do dinner for the boss, and then oh no, Wanda thought it was their anniversary, so she was doing something completely different, and then they have to figure it out and make a good dinner. So all of it is very straightforward. Like I said, set up very much like a sitcom from the old days. And the one scene that stood out to me the most is the one that felt the least like the rest of the episode. So I don't know the significance of it, but it's a scene where the wife and the boss and his wife are starting to question them about their past. And of course they don't remember. So again, why is that? I don't know. I don't really have any good theories. Like, are their memories wiped? Is this just Vision and he just remembers Wanda, but he doesn't remember anything else that happened before? I don't know. I have no clue. But yeah, so they start asking all these questions. They're starting to be like, I don't know. And you can see like Wanda is really like, it's getting to her, like, what is going on? And then suddenly the boss starts freaking out and he starts choking. And then all of a sudden the cinematography, everything switches. Like, we're no longer watching from the outside. Now we are actually a part of the scene. We're getting to see, the look on the wife's face as she's just sitting there laughing. Like, it almost looks like she's hiding an emotion underneath her smile. She's like, stop it. Stop it. Like, it almost seemed like she was... At first I was like, is Wanda doing this? Like, is her freaking out because she doesn't remember her past? Like, her powers are causing him to choke and the wife is telling her to stop? But then Vision, like, she tells Vision to save him or to help him. And then he reaches in and pulls out whatever he was choking on. So yeah, I don't know. It was an intense scene. I didn't know what was happening. And just that sudden switch. Like I said, the cinematography changed. The lighting changed. The music changed. It didn't feel like we were part of an episode of an old sitcom anymore. It felt like suddenly reality hit. I really liked how they handled it because it definitely felt unnatural and how it was all set up. So I don't know. I don't know what the significance of that is. I don't know if like maybe whenever they start to realize that none of this is real, that this is all being watched or whatever the world that they're in is, maybe that starts to like break the program a little bit and then people around them start to get hurt or I don't know. I don't know what that whole thing is, but it was definitely an interesting scene and something that got me more excited to see like what other hints are they going to give us about what's actually going on. And I did also see like it was interesting because Vision at the end like they do the rings and I'll admit as much as I do like Wanda and I do like Vision, their romance for me has never been huge in the Marvel movies. Like they're fine. I don't mind them. I thought Wanda has definitely become a much better character as the movies went on. Like the first in Civil War, she was it was mainly the accent, but as she went on, like I thought she became much better character. Infinity War, I thought she was awesome, and then at Endgame, she had that one great scene, and she just I don't know, she became a much better character after everything that happened with Vision. So I thought them coming together did give them more, but Vision for me, like I still don't know much about him. And that's kind of the problem with Wanda. She's a human, so of course she has all this emotion. She has all this feeling. With Vision, he is technically an AI in a human body, but that doesn't mean an AI can't feel, right? So I don't know. I wish I knew a bit more about Vision. Like I wish we had gotten more about them before we hit this show. Like they had more. Maybe Vision had more in Endgame because of course he doesn't come back in Endgame. Maybe if they had something more about him in Endgame, maybe I would feel a bit more connected to him. But right now, he's just still, I think he's cool. I think his powers are cool, but I don't really know much about the character of Vision right now. And I'm hoping this show can change that for sure. So at the moment, like, their romance is okay, but I'm just kind of sitting here like, I hope they don't go, like, too heavy-handed. Like, I would still like this to say, even though obviously they are a romantic couple, I would like this to stay focused on the characters of being superheroes and that side of things because Marvel they have their romances which are very nice. Obviously Captain America and Peggy as goals, but I still feel like at the end of the day, this is a superhero show, so probably need to stick to that, and hopefully we'll mainly stick to that. Obviously, we will have their romantic moments, but yeah, they're sitting on the couch at the end, and we do see like Vision clicks the remote like he's about to turn on the TV, but I don't know if that's actually him pretending to turn on the TV in the show, or if it has something to do with what's going on the outside, and then the person on the outside clicks their remote. Um, so I don't know. A lot of theories going around again, but I'm just really excited to see where this is going to go. And I will say, while I do wish they were longer episodes, maybe they will get longer as the season progresses. Maybe they're just doing the short ones because they're in this old sitcom style. Um, but I do kind of like the shortness in the sense that there's not a whole lot to watch and really get invested in. So it does kind of seem like, it's going to be a quick or watch instead of having to sit here and go through a long episode. Like, I don't mind the long episodes. I don't mind how much story they can have in them. But yeah, as far as me trying to catch up on shows, it's nice to know that going to WandaVision, having to take a break from whatever show I decide to watch next will not take a whole lot of time out of my day to watch the next two episodes that come out next week. So I think that's how they're doing it, is two episodes, maybe three at the end, because I think they have 9. But anyways, yeah, that's it for this first episode. On to the next one. See you there. And now it's episode 2. Episode 2. It's definitely very interesting, and it's I like the mystery element to it. Like, you're trying to really, I don't think whatever's happening is of their choice, especially, the voice coming through the radio and saying, Wanda, who's doing this to you? So I don't think this is of their choice, and I don't think they realize what's going on. What's weird, though, is that it seemed like they sort of, they got a glimpse of whoever that guy was in the beekeeper outfit, and then Wanda's the one that said no, and then it rewound, like almost like she didn't want that to be seen. But I don't know. It seems weird that she's the one doing this if somebody is asking her who is doing this to you. Like, that's, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air, and I think it's supposed to be a little vague. Like, we're not really supposed to know what exactly is going on, who is the one in control in this situation. But yeah, very interesting. I will say I was kind of proud of myself, because, obviously they're going through decades of TV. And I said the first one reminded me of I Love Lucy, and sure enough, that one happened in the 50s. And then the opening credits, I'm like, God, that looks like the Jetsons a little bit. And I looked it up, and sure enough, the Jetsons was in the 60s. So I was a little proud of myself for that. But I did look up just to kind of see what shows they're emulating, because obviously I don't know much about TV from the 50s and 60s. But yeah, there's elements of I Love Lucy in there. A lot of it takes reference from the Dick Van Dyke Show, and also a little bit of Bewitched as well. So I like the different styles. This one, you could tell it was a little bit, obviously still black and white, but the production quality was a little bit better than the first episode, which makes sense. With each decade, the quality is going to improve. Obviously, next is going to be color, which we see come in at the end of this episode. So I don't know why exactly that's happening. And they're keeping all of the same people, although I do find it kind of interesting that there are more cast members getting added on. Because like Agnes, the neighbor, is still in this episode. The one guy, I don't remember his name now, but the guy with the mustache, he was in here in this episode. And then the guy that Vision was working with in the office that was complimenting on his work, he's still a part of it. But then we also have like the addition of Dottie. We have the addition of what was her name? I think it starts with a G. I want to say Gretchen, but I don't think that's his. The black woman, and then the one of the other guys that was on, he called him Sherbert. It's Herbert. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it did. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I like the idea that we're getting new cast members as each episode continues, and as we appear to be going through the decades of TV. I don't know why that is. I don't know if they're going to have an explanation for why that is, but I like the concept. Like, it's very interesting. But yeah, as far as this episode goes, it's, again, another sitcom, basically, and they've got another situation overcome. They've got Vision is trying to figure out what the banging was outside, so he goes to the, what's it called? like the neighborhood watch people. And then there he gets misunderstood, and people think he's just joking around when he wasn't, and so they give him a piece of gum, which gums up his gears. And then the magic show, where we see this Dottie character is kind of the head of the party planning committee, and so Wanda's trying to impress her, and then they're doing the magic, and Vision is not doing his part very well, and so she's having to make things work. So yeah, I mean, it's very, again, the situational comedy aspect of the show is pretty straightforward. It's stuff that, it's the type of stuff that we've seen in a lot of shows before, but that's not the main point of this story. Like, that's kind of the fun element. That's the part that makes you laugh. It makes you kind of go, oh, I see what they're doing there. But it's definitely not the important stuff. The important stuff is whatever's going on the outside of this show. And yeah, I'm really curious to see, with the beekeeper outfit and all of that, we see the symbol of, it looks like the sword and the stone almost, I would say. But it's like a sword inside of a circle. The fact that the guy is in like a beekeeper outfit and there's bees all around him, and then at the end, whenever they close in, it's always a hexagon, almost like a bee hive. Now, the thing is, obviously, the hive itself, like, I know there's a character hive that was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the hive is like a DC comics thing. So that was my first thought. I was like, oh, is this the hive? I'm like, no, wait, that's DC. That's not Marvel. So I don't know what this is going to be. Like, this could be some organization that I maybe have heard about in passing, but don't know a whole lot about. But it seems like that's what's going on, is there is some sort of, it's not just going to be like one person doing all of this. There's probably a group of people that are doing this to them. I don't really know what's exactly going on. Like, it's definitely keeping a lot of stuff in mystery, and keeping my interest as well. So, but yeah, the addition of color in this was also a very interesting thing. You've got the helicopter she finds in the bush. She sees the color on it, and it's got the symbol of whatever group appears to be holding them. And then, of course, we also see whenever Dottie cuts her hand, we see the blood is red. So very interesting that there were little peaks of colors. I don't know why that is. There was, again, another scene where it feels like everything changes. Like, there were two scenes in this one. So I feel like what's going to end up happening is every single episode, they're living their daily life in these sitcoms, but something's going to start to, it's almost like it's a simulation is starting to break, like a glitch in the Matrix type of thing. And whenever these glitches happen, again, I love the cinematography. It changes. It looks different. It looks like this is not part of the show. So that scene where the radio starts going off and somebody's yelling, Wanda, who's doing this to you? And then the cinematography changes, and then suddenly, like, Dottie can sense it as well, and then she breaks the glass. And it's almost like whenever the simulation starts to break, these characters that are around them are getting hurt. So I don't know what significance that's going to have, if anything. But again, we see at the end, another situation where the knocking is happening. They go outside and everything looks different. It doesn't look like a part of the show anymore. And then, of course, it rewinds like none of that ever happened, and they're back inside again. So, yeah, very interesting in all of those regards. And then, of course, we see the color change at the end. I guess this is showing like the progression from one sitcom era to the next. I have no clue why. I really don't. I don't understand why. I don't know what exactly the point of that is, but it's pretty interesting to see, just how things are progressing along. The final thing I do want to talk about is the commercials. I feel like those are going to have some importance, because the first one we saw was, guy, he's advertising a toaster, and then it turns out it's a Stark toaster. And then in this one, he's selling a watch, and it's a Strucker watch. And of course, these are two people that had a lot of influence in Wanda's life. So, kind of, again, leaning towards the possibility that maybe she has something to do with this based on, again, the fact that she said no and then it rewound. But I don't know for sure. I don't know, maybe that's just, this is in her mind, possibly. Like, maybe Vision, because we do know Vision's not around, so maybe Vision is gone. And this is her, almost like whatever group this is kind of making her picture her best life or what she wants out of life, but something she can't have anymore because Vision is gone. I don't know. Again, there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of theories I could throw out there, but for the first two episodes, definitely a lot of fun and very interesting build-up. it's going to be a bit of a slow burn, but that's to be expected. They're going to build up the mystery of it. I do feel like, they've got a good setup. You got the 50s, now you got the 60s, next will be the 70s, and then the 80s, and then the 90s, maybe some early 2000s stuff. But yeah, so you'll be able to go through all of those. That's like 5-6 episodes, and then you can get to the main plot for the final few. So it's, in my opinion, if that's how they do it, I think that's a very good setup. They could break the formula at some point, but I like the fact that they are giving us these different sitcoms that are showing, I guess, what their daily life is like and what it could have been if Vision hadn't gone away. And they're slowly showing the breaks, the cracks in the simulation, the cracks in their reality. So yeah, I really like how they're handling this so far. It's very interesting. It's got my attention, and yeah, again, I'm glad we're getting another Marvel thing. Like, it feels like it's been so long since Endgame happened, and of course, a lot of that has to do with the shutdown and all of that. But yeah, the fact that we're finally getting our first Marvel production after Phase 3, I'm excited to see where they're going to go with it, because I do get the feeling that this is going to tie into the overarching story somehow. Probably. Maybe not like a whole lot, but at the very least, I'm glad that we're getting more about Wanda and about Vision, because they are two characters that, like I said, they needed a bit more fleshing out. They never really got their own thing. They were always just bit part characters. And especially Vision, because he didn't come back for Endgame, I really feel like his character is a little bit weaker. And it's one that does need a bit more fleshing out. Whereas Wanda, of course, had her moment at Endgame that made me feel like she grew as a character. So yeah, I really like what they're doing with it. I can't wait to see where it goes next, but that's it for these two. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future WandaVision reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.